Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Air 2S from Moza. Before we go any further, I just want to say that I'm not being paid to make this video, but Moza did send me this gimbal for free. But as always, all of my thoughts are my own, and I'll give you my complete, honest opinion. I've been using this gimbal for about 2 weeks now, and I've done a couple of professional shoots with it, and I will show you some of the footage later on in the video. But before we get into that, I want to tell you some of the things I like about it, some of the things I'm not so keen on, and would I recommend buying it. So first things first, and it's apparent as soon as you open the box. This thing is very, very well built. This is my first time ever using a Moza gimbal, but I've used lots of offerings from DJI and Zion in the past. The overall feel of this gimbal is very premium. I know on some pre-production models that some of the locks weren't quite as strong as you would expect them to be, but I'm happy to report that the locking mechanisms in my particular model are very solid. I'm only using a small APS-C camera with this gimbal, but if you're a Z-Cam or Red Komodo owner, then I think this gimbal would suit you very well. I would say size-wise, it's very comparable to the Ronin S, so anything you can fit on the Ronin S, I would think you can fit on the Moza Air 2S as well. Let's move on to accessories, and I have to say on the unit that I was sent, I was really impressed with how much comes with this gimbal. It feels like Moza did something that no other manufacturer are doing at the minute. They included a small tripod so that the gimbal can stand on a desk or on the floor easily. Every USB lead you can imagine so you can connect any camera to it, no matter what system you're trying to run. They include the sled, the base plate, and even a follow focus. I don't have any lenses that take a follow focus at the minute, so I'm not going to be demonstrating that, but it is lovely that it's included in the box. You also get a high quality carry case which allows you to put the gimbal away fully assembled, minus the small tripod foot. This has been a real bugbear with me in the past with DJI. I used to own the Ronin S, and you have to take it apart down to 3 different sections in order to pack it away. Which means every time you take the gimbal back out of the box, you need to reassemble it and rebalance it. The nice thing about the Air 2S is that you can put it away completely assembled and balanced. All you need to do when you take the gimbal back out of the carry case is put the camera on it. Genius. So let's move on to some of the features I really like about this gimbal. I've already mentioned that we've got locking axes, which is pretty standard on most modern gimbals. It means you can transport the gimbal between different shoot locations, and you know everything is going to be locked down and secure. It also comes with a movable sled, so you can not only move the camera back and forth, but you can actually move the sled back and forth as well. So if you're trying to balance a more awkward camera, you get much more flexibility. The gimbal charges over USB-C, which is a nice touch because I know on previous Moza gimbals they came with 18650 batteries which needed recharging out of the main body of the gimbal, which is just a bit annoying. Now you just need to hook this up to your nearest power outlet and you can charge the gimbal with just a single USB-C lead. It's amazing, and I think I'm right in saying that you can actually charge the gimbal off of a power bank whilst in operation, so if you're ever running low on juice, you can just plug the gimbal in and carry on filming. Whilst we're on the subject of battery life, I have to mention that you can plug the camera directly into the gimbal, and the gimbal actually charges the camera. I've been waiting for this for such a long time, and I'm sure that my previous gimbals were able to do it, but not without a specialized cable that wasn't included. Like I said earlier, you get a whole bag of different cables so you can connect your camera to your gimbal, whether you're shooting on Canon, Panasonic, Sony, Nikon. They include everything, so I can plug my camera directly into my gimbal and know that I'll have all day battery life. I'm never going to have to swap batteries again. Something else that this cable does is allow me to start and stop recording using the power button on the front of the gimbal. And all the other buttons around the gimbal are actually customizable, so if I want to map the power button to take a picture instead of start and stop recording, I can do. The front trigger is also completely customizable, so you can hold the trigger for one function, press the trigger for another function, double press the trigger for another function, and triple press the trigger for another function. At the moment I've got the trigger set up so when I hold it, it locks all the axes. When I press it once, it focuses my camera. Press it twice and it's going to reset back to the original position, and press it 3 times and then it'll go into the classic selfie mode. Before, on my old gimbals, I was having to reach up and over the gimbal and half press that shutter button if my focus wasn't quite on point. Now I can just do it by squeezing the trigger at the front. Having used this gimbal on a couple of shoots now, I don't think I could go back to having to press the record button and the focus button on the camera. It just makes a world of difference when you're on a long shoot. Let's take a little break from me talking and I'll show you some of the footage that I've captured using this gimbal.
I can feel your skin on mine, taste the bitterness on your lips. Your love has never felt so strong. I'll be strong enough on this eclipse as we dance this struggle for the very last time. Oh, face to face, I can see your bones are tight. Stay awake for one last taste. I'm going home, and if I stay too long, won't you follow me down, 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 down? I'm going home. If I stay too long, won't you follow me down? Yeah. And follow me down.
So let's talk about operation, and that brings us straight on to this little wheel on the side. There are several different modes on this gimbal, and each mode allows you to control different axes with this wheel. You can make fine adjustments to the yaw, roll, or tilt motors, and I was using this on a music video shoot recently, and I was in quite a tight space, so I didn't have the flexibility to make big movements. I was shooting on a 50mm lens, and I was able to pan and tilt the gimbal by using this little control on the side. And it just made it so much easier to get the shot that I needed. On the whole, I think this gimbal operates like so many other gimbals on the market, but with the extra functionality and superb build quality, it's my new favourite gimbal. So let's just touch on the negatives, and honestly, I don't think there are very many. The only thing I would say is that the manual is very hard to follow when you're first setting this up. It's not translated very well from Chinese to English, which is a shame because everything else on this gimbal has been thought out so well. Something I'd like to see is a series of videos from maybe Moza themselves teaching people exactly how to set this up for the first time. The next thing is the app. I mean, the app isn't bad, but I just feel like it could be a bit better. I've been using the app with my Moza Slipod for the past 6 months, and although it does work, I just feel like it could use some more development to make it work as well as I would like. So there we go. These are my initial thoughts on the Moza Air 2S, and I know what you're going to ask me. Would I recommend buying this gimbal as your first gimbal? Well, for me, that answer depends on what camera you're planning to use it with. A camera like the Sony a6500, which is what I'm running on it at the minute, I think it's a little bit overkill. It can handle the weight no problem, but I think it will make your setup unnecessarily heavy. If you're looking to put a heavier camera on this gimbal, then I would 100% recommend it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you've got any questions at all, put them in the comment section below or join my Facebook group. There's a link in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again really soon.